What's up everyone, this is FP Sticks, and in today's video I'm going to be bringing you a tournament recap of a tournament that I hosted this week, a couple days ago, in a format, an Autorekt format, but with a little bit of a twist. So I'm going to tentatively call this style of PvP Autorekt 2.0. It is, in my opinion, my favorite form of PvP. A lot of really fun battles happening in this tournament, and I had so much fun hosting this tournament. I think I'm going to do one of these tournaments every single week. So make sure you follow me on Twitter for the links to these tournaments as well as the Discord invite. But essentially what Autorekt 2.0 is it's just like Autorekt, which means you clear any pre-made teams that you have in Great League, and then when you hit the battle button, those random 3 Pokemon will appear. But the 2.0 part comes in where you are allowed to switch out one of those Pokemon. So say that I get my team of 3 and I have like a single moved Moltres in there that I know is really bad. Moltres is a fire and flying type, so I can swap out Moltres for either a fire type or a flying type. So I can substitute one of those Pokemon for another Pokemon that share the same type. This allows for really fun team building with lines of 3 really fast, and still keeps things moving along. It has a nice sense of randomness to it as well. So let's just go through these battles that took place in the tournament. Again, this was a lot of fun, and I think I'm going to be hosting one of these tournaments almost every week. So make sure to get in on that. Let's get into these battles. Alright, my first opponent in this tournament is up against Mayor Quimby, who's also one of my patrons, so big shout out to them for supporting the channel. But the line of 3 that I actually got selected in this first battle was very, very strong. All 3 of these Pokemon are double moved and pretty optimized for Great League. So Hypno, Poliwrath, and Galvantula. I'm able to get my Poliwrath onto this fortress here, which is really great because Poliwrath does resist the bug bites. I'm also resisting these mirror shots, and I'm not shielding any of this stuff because I know that it can't possibly be an earthquake because it's coming too soon. So I build up to 100 energy before throwing this dynamic punch, which takes it out. If the Charizard comes back in, I want to be able to get to this Hydro Pump on my Poliwrath. And so the Charizard does come back in. I anticipated this being a Dragon Claw, which I know that I do survive. And then I'm able to get to this Hydro Pump right here. This is for sure going to one-shot the Charizard. And in the back is a Snowy Castform. But here's the funny part. The Snowy Castform does not have Powder Snow as the fast move. It looks like it's running Tackle there. And so it's generating energy very, very slowly. I switch my Galvantula instantly onto this just so I can get this lunge damage off as fast as possible and drop this Castform's attack. But this obviously was just a very fortunate line of 3 in my favor, so I was able to kind of capitalize on that team there. That's the thing with Autorekt, is sometimes you're just totally blessed with a good team of 3 from the randomness. Other times you really get screwed with the picks that it generates, and you have to be kind of creative with which one you're going to swap out. So for Alligator against Haunter, that was a Lick Haunter as well. Out comes Meganium, and I'm able to get my Alolan Marowak on this Meganium, which is great because I avoid the Haunter, and it's a really solid response to Meganium. However, I do shield up the Earthquake because I do want to come out of this with as much energy stored, because energy on Alolan Marowak is going to be really valuable. At that point, since they threw the Frenzy Plant, I knew I could fully farm down. If the Haunter comes in, I'm essentially just going to triple Bone Club here. Obviously Shadow Bone would one-shot, but I feel like I'm going to be getting these shields anyways. A little bit of lag there, and then my opponent switches into Articuno, so I'm just going to throw this Shadow Bone. Does a lot of damage. It's a Frost Breath Articuno, so it does not have Ice Shard. And I can tank whatever this is. It is an icy win, but I'm going to be able to farm this down, and then my Feraligatr does have access to Crunch, so it's going to be hitting this Haunter for super effective damage here, and that is enough to take it out there. Good game. Skarmory into Fluffy. So this is not a good matchup for Skarmory, but that Fluffy is Not super optimized for PvP, I would assume. It is running Charge Beam, so it is hitting for super effective damage on my Skarmory. I'm assuming it has access to some electric moves. Honestly, I did not know the moveset of Fluffy while doing this. I have a Vigoroth with loaded energy against this Golbat here. So this is honestly totally fine for me, even though my counters are double resisted here. These body slams are really going to add up on this Golbat here. And so I'm trying to fight for either switch advantage or shield advantage, and I'm able to regain switch advantage. In the back is a Mantine running Bullet Seed. You always get some spicy movesets in Autorekt. Running Bullet Seed. I'm not able to get to this next body slam, so we'll let it go at this point. But I'm still able to get to this body slam because Bubble Beam isn't even enough to take out Vigoroth. That's hilarious. Okay, and then I get Bullet Seeded down. Gonna bring out Skarmory here. Because they have Bullet Seed, I'm also assuming that they're single move. And they hit me with another Bubble Beam. And I know that this is going to be another Bubble Beam. So at this point, I can kind of fully commit to the farm down here. Just going to be another Bubble Beam. And then honestly, when that Fluffy comes back in, I'm going to be able to get my Medicham on it, clear my debuff. And this is a pretty favorable scenario here. I'm going to shield this up, whatever it is. It's a discharge, so that would hit for a decent amount of damage there. And this Fluffy is really loaded. That is something I never thought that I would say in PvP. But just going to throw these Ice Punches here, and this is definitely going to be able to take out the Fluffy, get the last shield. And then this Discharge, I am curious to see how much it does. So it does a decent chunk for sure. But the Fluffy's going to go down. I was very fortunate with the lines of 3 that I got selected for those first battles. These next battles are up against J Mills. Marowak and the Zapdos, this is decent. Obviously, Zapdos is very glassy, but Moltres will resist the Bone Club. The Zapdos is running Thunder, so thank goodness I shielded that up. I'm going straight for Shadow Bone. Possibly should have baited here, because it does get shielded. I'm going to switch into Snorlax, and I have Weavile in the back. Oh man, that Thunder does so much damage. Out comes Swalot, so it's going to be very difficult for Swalot to fully Infestation down Snorlax. Infestation hardly does any damage, and Snorlax is very bulky. But Swalot is also very bulky, and I know that it's going to come out of this with a lot of stored energy. Man, he's fully committing to the farm. That's very bad for me. Luckily, Alolan Marowak totally walls off any move that Swalot could have. This is most likely a Sludge Bomb. This thing probably has Sludge Bomb and Ice Beam. So I'm going to throw that. Out comes Skarmory. I'm able to get my Weavile on it. I am running Snarl, so generating energy pretty fast. And then Avalanche is going to hit for a lot of damage on this Skarmory. They do get an extra Air Slash through there, which is not ideal. But I get the first shield. I'm able to get to this Avalanche before that Skarmory can throw the next Sky Attack, so really good for me. It does not KO the Skarmory. I intentionally did not throw, so I don't get farmed down. So I allow my Weavile to get taken out. This allows me to farm down the Skarmory. I have a lot of energy. I know that he's going to try to get fancy and do a sacrificial swap, so I held on to my energy. This allows me to land the Bone Club on this Swalot here, and then land the Shadow Bone on the Zapdos. That was pretty much his only play at the end there, is trying to catch on the Swalot there, so I did anticipate that coming. Oh my gosh, Zweilous into Togekiss, this is absolutely terrible. I don't have a response to a Charmer on this team. And it's just very, very bad. Togekiss is also going to resist the Leaf Blades from my Tropius. So I'm in a very tough scenario here. I know that I'm going to be able to win back Switch because I survived this Weather Ball, and then I'm going to be able to charm down this Cast Form. If Togekiss comes back in, I'm going to be able to land the Ice Beam on it, and most likely get this shield back. So now at least my Tropius is going to be able to get aligned with this Togekiss. But they insta-swap, and then I insta-swap as well. Now, I know this is going to be a close combat, but I don't want to be farmed down by the Togekiss. So I just let it go. And then here, debatable move, but I do shield up this Night Slash. Unfortunately, the Togekiss is going to be able to get to a move, and the move from Togekiss is going to hit for more damage than that Night Slash. But if I didn't shield the Night Slash, my health would have been so low that Togekiss would have been able to charm down. So very unfortunate scenario for me. Ancient Power is enough to take it out. So we are going into Game 3 here, up against J Mills. Heracross into Muck. This is somewhat neutral. I don't resist the poison jabs, but obviously Muck or Heracross does output a lot of damage, even though all this is resisted. I go straight for the close combat, and then I insta-swap to my Umbreon to absorb what's most likely a Thunder Punch. It is... Ooh, he has a very solid response for this of Poliwrath in the back. I know that I still have a lot of energy on my Heracross, very close to another close combat. And it's very difficult for Poliwrath to be able to Mud Shot down Umbreon, so I know that he's going to have to expend 2 moves here. I'm not able to get to a second last resort, very unfortunate. I definitely thought about shielding there, but I'm just going to let it go. I'm going to bring out Heracross again, get a little bit more farm. I have to shield this and then commit to even more farm, so this is an Ice Punch. Now I'm going to throw the close combat, because I can't fully commit to countering this Poliwrath down without getting hit by another Ice Punch. He does shield, which is interesting to me. At this point, I'm just going to get a lot of energy with Charizard. I don't care about getting hit by an Ice Punch. I do have to be careful of the Thunder Punch from Muck. But I don't know what's in the back. Charizard with a lot of energy is going to be really useful here. I'm just going to go straight for the Blast Burn. And then I'm able to get to another Blast Burn before this Snorlax throws a move. J Mills talked to me after this battle and actually said that that Snorlax was single moved and only had Hyper Beam. So very lucky for me, because this allowed me to save my shield for this Thunder Punch on the Muck. And then farm down while I'm able to throw this Dragon Claw on the Poliwrath as well. Very clutch ending there. Really good game. Alright, these next battles are against Pokey Jort. So decent lead for me here. Obviously Rock Slide and Thunderbolt both hit for super effective, but I have a Star Raptor in the back. So I'm going to bring out my Star Raptor. I know that I survived 1 Thunder Punch. I'm just going to get to this Brave Bird. And I'm barely able to get there. Let's go Star Raptor. The Brave Bird lands, it does not one-shot, and I lose switch advantage, but I'm okay with that. I'm going to bring out my Deoxys, and I knew that this was just going to be another Elemental Punch. Able to farm it down. And then if the Mantine comes back out, I have a lot of stored energy. So I'm assuming this is a Bubble Beam. It is. And then by some miracle, they no-shield this Rock Slide. I could not believe that they did that. So I'm going to throw another Rock Slide here. And they also no-shield that, which again, I am like extremely surprised by. So we'll have to see what's in the back. I do no-shield the Bubble Beam. It's a Shift Tree in the back. So these Weather Balls are going to be hitting for super effective on Shift Tree, but especially since my attack has been debuffed, there's no way that it's going to one-shot anymore. I felt like I was going to get baited here, but honestly my my Cherrim is getting so low in health that I really need to start shielding stuff up. So I throw another Weather Ball. I have another Weather Ball stored. I do shield up the Foul Play, which is good for me. And then I switch into my Deoxys, which was actually really dumb because Shift Tree was able to take me out there. And then here they perfectly catch the Weather Ball on their Mantine, so really nice play by them. I don't know how they were able to keep track of my energy there. Must have just been a pretty fortunate guess, but unfortunately, this foul play is just enough to take me out. That Shiftry had so much energy. Really nice sacrificial swap by my opponent there. That definitely won them the game. Man. Blastoise into Alolan Muck. This is fairly neutral, but obviously my Shiftry needs to avoid this. I do have Altaria in the back. So they're over farming a lot. I'm really hoping this is not a Sludge Wave, but it is. They went right for it. That's very bad for me. And then they're able to get to this Dark Pulse. So I do shield it. Gonna throw this Hydro Cannon. And then out comes Vigoroth. So I have Altaria for this, which is really great. But look at what my opponent has in the back. If I remember correctly, it's horrible. So they're staying in with Vigoroth for a while here, chipping away with these body slams. And it's a freaking Wigglytuff in the back. Really, really nice counter to my backline. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do here. Oh, man. Absolutely brutal. Charmer for this backline was so sad when I saw that thing pop out, because there was nothing I could do here. So I lose this round for sure, but we're still playing out game 3. Let's see if I can try to get a win here. Shadow Sharpedo into Alolan. I don't know how he got this Alolan Muck 2 games in a row. That's pretty crazy. I have to shield up everything. Out comes Beartick. So I'm just going to throw this Poison Fang here. It's not enough to KO, and then I knew this was going to be an Ice Punch, which I resist. Oh, it's actually a Surf, which I also resist, but it's still enough to take me out. I'm going to bring out Marsh Stomp and Mud Shot down the Beartick. Ugh, so bad for me. Pelipper resist all of these moves. So I'm going to bring out my Noctowl. I know that they still have the Alolan Muck in the back. It was just a Weather Ball. I was worried that I might get hit by the Hurricane there, but just a Weather Ball. This is really not good though, because Alolan Muck does... this Dark Pulse is going to hurt, but I do survive it, just barely. I probably should have preserved the Noctowl here, because my Marsh Stomp is really going to struggle against that Pelipper, and my opponent recognizes that and saves the shield for Pelipper, which is just terrible for me. And then at this point I have to shield up this Weather Ball, and then my opponent perfectly baits, and they're going to be able to get to this Hurricane here. So really nice plays from my opponent. Very tough team comp for me on that second game for sure. This next round is up against Frank Castle. Lantern and Typhlosion, this is pretty good for me. It is a Spark. It's a Spark Lantern, so I'm not hitting for super effective damage, and the Shadow Claws from Typhlosion do hit for neutral. Blast Sprint still chunks. I'm over farming, and now I'm going to throw this Thunderbolt and see what my opponent wants to do. They just sacrifice the Typhlosion, and then out comes Chatot, which Lantern also has a positive matchup against. So and they let it go. So they're saving both shields for Raikou in the back. I guess they were not too thrilled about their line of 3 that they got recommended, and I don't blame them. Chatot, Raikou. At this point I can just let my Lantern go, because it definitely did its job. And they threw Wild Charge, so they debuffed themselves there. I know that this Raikou also has access to Shadow Ball, but at this point I'm just going to save both my shields probably for my Dragonair and commit to the Dragon Breath down. So this is another instance in Autorekt where I got very lucky with my team comp, and my opponent, those Pokemon definitely struggled against Lantern for sure. So Skuntank against Drifblim. Obviously the Poison Jabs are resisted, so I'm going to build energy and then swap to my Galvantula. Reason being, I actually have double Electric in the back. I also have a Minun in the back here. So there was no point in me staying in that lead matchup because I have 2 counters to Drifblim in the back. So I just stored the energy. Now I would like to regain switch here. Gonna just throw these lunge. Bug does not resist bug. Bug does not resist bug. So it is hitting for neutral here. But unfortunately, because of these debuffs, lunge is not going to be enough to KO this Galvantula here. And so my Galvantula still does not go down, and I don't want to get farmed, so I switch into my Skuntank again. Skuntank with shields down is going to be pretty powerful here. Oh my gosh, it's an Aerodactyl. These Poison Fangs are resisted. But luckily, 2 crunches are going to be able to take out this Aerodactyl here. And then I have the Mine-In for the Drifblim, so I'm looking pretty good here. Mine-In is pretty bulky. And so all I need to do is get to this discharge, and it's easily going to be enough to take out this Drifblim here. Shining Mine-In as well, which is kind of nice to flex that. Alright. Gligar into Blastoise here. So I'm going to throw this Night Slash here. But this is very unfortunate because my back line is also weak to this Blastoise. So I totally have to sacrifice this Gligar here, which is very unfortunate. But this allows me to get my Mine-In aligned with this Blastoise, but this Hydro Cannon is still really going to hurt. Definitely going to have to commit a shield here. It's a Jynx in the back. I know this thing learns like some sort of a psychic charge move. I'm just going to tank it. It's a Psyshock and it hits for a lot of damage, but I'm able to fully farm it down, which is good for me. That way if Blastoise comes back in, I have energy to threaten it, but they come back in with an attack form Deoxys. Oh my gosh, that thing is crazy glassy. But I can shield and fully commit to the farm down on this Deoxys, and I'll have enough energy to threaten and take out this Blastoise in the back. So able to come back from that pretty terrible lead. Thank goodness that my opponent had a Deoxys in the back there. So these battles are up against Human Catcher Bug here. So Skarmory into Altaria, this is somewhat neutral, honestly, because in the 2-shield, Altaria can actually win this just because Dragon Breath is so strong. Even though I'm resisting all of the attacks from Altaria, that's just how strong Altaria is and how strong Dragon Breath is. So I'm not able to get to this Sky Attack, which is unfortunate. But I am going to throw it here. Altaria did beat me in the CMP tie there, it looks like, or they somehow snuck in an extra Dragon Breath. I'm able to win the lead and avoid the Altaria, which is good for my backline. Very good for my backline. Gonna bring out my Toxicroak. They have a Breloom in the back as well, so Toxicroak is for sure gonna be my win scenario here. Shield once. It is a Sludge Bomb. Even though it's resisted, that would still really hurt. There is a case to be made that I should bait here, especially since 2 shields are up, but on the off chance that my opponent does not shield, it'll be nice to land that nuke, and I'm still in a pretty favorable spot here. At this point in time, I think I was fully committed to saving both my shields for Toxicroak and allowing the counter damage to really add up. So I'm just going to be able to fast move down this Abomasnow here and take that first game. Good game. Machamp into, oh my gosh, this was the line of 3 that I got where I'm like, if they have a confusion user, I instantly lose. They have a confusion, and they have 2. They have 2 confusion users, and I have a Machamp and a Venusaur. It's just, this is a nightmare. I'm not even able to get to that second Frenzy Plant, which is horrible. Oh man, so obviously I have to bring in Umbreon here, but my Machamp is still gonna have to see that Slowbro. There's no win scenario here, unfortunately, because of this really bad alignment. I obviously need to farm up as much energy as possible off of this Slowbro, but it's still, this is so bad. When this line of 3 came up, I was like, oh man, if I see a Confusion user, it's over. And they have an Azumarill in the back for my Umbreon. So this is a very unfortunate alignment for me here. I get farmed all the way down, and even though my Umbreon has 2 shields here, it does not matter. I cannot take out that Azumarill, even with all this stored energy here. Because their Azumarill, as you can see, also has access to Play Rough. So, unfortunately, there's nothing I can do against a full health Azumarill. I will chip it with these last resorts, but at this point, I just save us both some time. And I think I just let this Play Rough come through here. Oh, the double Confusion users. That hurt me when I saw that for sure. That was really tough. Okay. Azumarill and Altaria. This is a really favorable lead for me, obviously. However, I'm not running Ice Beam. I am running Play Rough Hydro. So, my Sunny Cherum here also does not have access to Solar Beam. I'm actually running Dazzling Gleam on this, which is kind of crazy. Again, these are just randomly selected, so you never know what you're going to get. I did get the shield there, which is nice. I noticed that their Azumarill does not have Ice Beam as well, because they threw Play Rough on my Azumarill. So I bring out my own Azumarill on this, because obviously my Crustle doesn't want to see this opposing Azumarill. I know that they have Altaria, and I'm assuming that my Crustle has Smackdown, so it's also going to have some play against Altaria. I am preserving some health on this Azumarill here. I don't know what they have in the back yet. So I'm going to undercharge this Play Rough just slightly for, to allow me to get 1 more bubble's worth of energy there, which is good. Oh my gosh, it's a Meganium. Yeah, really, really tough for me here. I'm going to throw this Rock Slide, but Meganium in the back is like a nightmare for me. There's a case to be made. I maybe could have fully committed to farm down that Altaria to have a lot of energy to threaten this Meganium, but it's just very bad. Grass is hitting Crustle for neutral here. And if my opponent plays this very smart, they build up to 2. They build up to almost 2 Frenzy Plants, and then my Azumarill can't get to a move before they throw that Frenzy Plant. Amazing energy management by my opponent there. Like, really, really solid heads-up play there. They're able to take that game there. Good game. The final round is up against Kevin Saladars, a big supporter in the Twitch community. Very favorable lead for me. Out comes Barrel, and I am being stupid and staying in this matchup for some reason. I have a very solid response to this in Defense Deoxys. I should have just swapped right away, but I'm able to catch this Surf on my Defense Deoxys, which is kind of nice. And then at this point, I can fully counter down. I can still survive this Surf, but I will shield it up and fully commit to the counter down because energy on Defense Deoxys is very, very valuable. Gonna throw this Rock Slide here onto the Grottle. Grottle is definitely very bulky, but gonna throw another Rock Slide here, and then I get farmed down, but I have 2 very solid responses to this. Wormadam in the back is very scary for me because it's also good against my Beedrill. I have to ensure that one of these Shadow Balls connect. Thank goodness that one landed. Now I switch into Beedrill, and I'm just going straight X-Scissor, trying to get any chip damage that I can. I just got to get rid of this thing, and my wing attacks from Golbat should be enough to hopefully take this out. Iron Head takes me out. This is very scary. I fully commit to the farm down here. I'm barely able to survive. And then I'm able to get to this Poison Fang to hit for super effective damage on the Grottle and take this first game there. Good game. Granbull. This is a Snarl Granbull into Mew here. So obviously my Snarls are hitting for super effective, and this Crunch is going to do so much damage. But this Mew is definitely scary. I have to shield up whatever this is. Because I have a Noctowl in the back, which I don't really want it to see the Mew. Out comes Wigglytuff. I'm going to throw this Close Combat. It's going to hit for a lot of damage. And then I'm able to bring my Noctowl out onto this. And I throw this Sky Attack before the Wigglytuff is able to get to an Ice Beam. I don't want to have to commit a shield here. Out comes the Mew again. And he's able to get to a Wild Charge right there, which is not great. I will shield this up because it was a CMP tie, so he's stuck in here. He's going to have to take this Sky Attack with drop defense, but he does shield it up. And then really nice counting by Kevin there. This Wild Charge is going to take me out. I have a Jolteon in the back. Out comes Scrafty. I'm going to be able to land this. Oh my gosh, this is just a power-up punch, and I barely survive. I'm going to throw the close combat. This does not one-shot the Scrafty, but it puts it in farm down range for my Jolteon, which is good for me. I just got to get to this discharge, and this will be enough to take out the Mew. Jolteon is very attack-weighted. Oh my gosh, that was a crazy game. That was a crazy game for sure. Going into game 3 here, Deoxys into Shiftry. This is a pretty decent lead for me. Obviously, the foul plays are going to hit for super effective damage. I have Flygon and a Lowland Muck in the back there. I'll shield this up. I do get baited by the Leaf Blade. That's unfortunate. These counters are really adding up. I'm going to throw the Rock Slide now. Probably get a shield here. And then this is most likely the foul play, so I will shield up and then try to counter down. But he switches there. Really nice switch. I'm extremely slow on the switch. I store a Rock Slide at least, but I really needed to get into my Flygon sooner here because these Mud Bombs are really going to chip away. And this Stunfisk just has too much of an energy advantage. If he shields this Earth Power, I pretty much lose. So I'm just going straight for it. Thank goodness he let it go through because I would have been in a world of hurt. Oh my gosh, it's a Shadow Victory Bell. And my Alolan Muck is actually running Poison Jab here, so I don't generate energy as quickly. But I'm going to be able to throw this Dark Pulse. I'm assuming he shields this and preserves health on the Victory Bell. Out comes the Shiftry, and I stupidly overtap and don't get my energy off, which is terrible. Oh my gosh, but that doesn't KO. And then, oh man, this was so bad. I really needed to save this energy for the Victory Bell in the back because I get farmed down. And then this Leaf Blade is still going to do a lot, even though it's resisted. I need to get to a Dark Pulse, but we simultaneously KO. Very, very fun battles. I hope you all enjoyed this form of PvP. Again, I think I'm going to host one of these tournaments every single Friday. It's super fun. Anyone can participate. It's free. It's done through like Sylph's tournament matchmaking. So follow me on Twitter. That's where I post the tournament links and the Discord links. But thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.